Hi everybody, it's Robin. Don't fall out of your chair. I know I've been MIA for quite a few months, I think since March was my last video. I was explaining to you about a very dear friend of mine who was sick, and she passed just a few weeks later. And since then I had lost 3 other people, so it's been a very rough year. It's been an exciting year as well with other things, but I just wanted to say I'm sorry that I've been MIA. It was everything I could do just to get through school and, you know, get my oldest child off to college, and oh, it's been a crazy year. But anyway, I'm back. I've had so many people ask me where I'm at, that they want me to make more videos, and it's touched me deeply, and it's something I really want to do. So here I am, and this is just going to be a real quick where I left off video. I left off, like I said, back in March, so that was spring semester of 2012, and I was taking Anatomy and Physiology 1, General Chemistry, Chemistry 110. It was the harder of the two, so I can transfer it to my BSN, and I was also taking Human Development. And towards the end of that semester is when things really start happening with my friend, and it was very hard for me to concentrate, to be honest. So, and taking 2 science classes at the same time can be kind of hard, unless of course you're great at science and math. I have to work a little bit harder than others, but it ended up, I put a little more focus into anatomy and physiology because I needed those points for the nursing program. Whereas chemistry, I just needed to pass. But that's not my personality, just to kind of say, well, all I have to do is pass. But at that moment where I was emotionally, that's the road I took. I had an A in Human Development. I ended up with an A in Anatomy and Physiology 1 and a B in Chemistry. So I didn't just pass. I mean, I did better on the final than I had on 3 exams during the semester, so I'm kind of glad that it ended up the way it had. And my Anatomy and Physiology 1, my puppy's coming in, my Anatomy and Physiology 1 class was something that I was excited about, but nervous about, because you hear so many stories about how hard anatomy is, and it really is a tough subject. But what you need to do is go above and beyond. Don't just take what they give you. It's up to you to go a little more in depth of how things work. I didn't really realize that then in 1. I figured that out more in 2. It's okay. She's all right. So I'll be going more into that in my next video on this semester that just finished up, fall semester. But anyway, my first week of Anatomy and Physiology was kind of crazy because the teacher moved so fast, because there's lots to cover. It wasn't just him, and I adored him as a teacher, but at first he was kind of, he was very knowledgeable, and he went fast compared to other classes I had taken. So my first day I walked out and I'm like, what just happened? You know, I never really had study buddies yet. The classes I had taken thus far up to that point, I had done well studying on my own and going over chapters the night before class or a couple days before my next class, and that worked out really well for me. But I'm like, you know what? I think I'm going to need, not help in anatomy, but I'm going to need some good study buddies. And from other people on YouTube who have taken anatomy, they said, you know what, having some study partners was really beneficial for them. So just happened to be, I checked my school email, which I don't really check that one that often, or I hadn't at that time, and there was an email from a girl in my class, and you know, she's like, if anybody else would like to form a study group, I'm going to be here in the break room on this day, this time. There was like 11 of us that showed up, and I was like, okay, well, this is a little crazy, but it ended up being, some of the people that showed up just wanted to be like, hey, can I look at your homework from the other day? Or, you know, they didn't really want to participate in a study group necessarily. They just kind of wanted to share and kind of copy off of, and I was like, that's not what I want. And the girl that started this idea of the study group. That's not what she wanted to either. So I ended up being just 3 of us. And our anatomy and physiology teacher called us the posse. So that was kind of funny. But we all learned differently, which was really good in some ways, because one person may have picked up something one way, or if one of them didn't understand something and I did, it was a chance for me to explain to them how it worked, or how, you know, what the teacher was trying to get across. And it just, talking about the class really helped sink things into my head. And you all already know that I learn with color and, you know, tabbing and drawing things out and all that other stuff. So I'm going to make another video how I did my anatomy and physiology notes. I'm going to use more of the 2 because I perfected a little bit better and it really worked for me. But having some study buddies in a class that might be a little more difficult for you would absolutely be beneficial. My chemistry class, everybody, not everybody, but most people seem to get a little bit better than myself. I liked a lot of it. There was a couple things I had troubles with. The mole thing, didn't really care for that much at all, but I eventually caught on because I refused to give up, and I had someone sitting next to me that really got it, so she was very sweet and kind of, you know, but I didn't really have a study partner for chemistry, and I kind of think that that definitely would have helped. So if you're going to be taking a class that you're not sure about, wait a week or so first before you form a class, because that gives you some time to kind of feel people out in your class, who's going to be just wanting information from you, who's really wanting to go and take the class seriously, who's going to show up, who's going to do their part, things like that. So that's really good advice that I could pass on to you guys. But I've missed everybody on here, and like I said, I've meant to do some videos. And a sweetie pie, Amy, and I'm not going to say her last name because I don't know if she wants me to or not. But anyway, she's a friend of mine on Facebook, and she follows me here on YouTube. And she's like, when are you going to make videos? Would you please make some more videos? We miss you. And so here you are, Amy. She's a CNA. She got her CNA in May. She got her license in August, and she's working at a long-term care facility, and she loves it. She just has 3 more classes of her prereqs before she can apply for her ADN. To start her nursing clinicals, so good luck with that. I know you're going to do fabulous. She's a mother. She has 2 small girls. I think they're about 8 and either like 6 and 8 or 8 and 10, but they're adorable. And I wish you the best of luck. And thank you for kick-starting me into making more videos again. Another thing I wanted to say was when classes were over in May, I had a week and a half before I had to take my NLN. National League of Nursing. It was the last step I needed to apply for my nursing program. I still had 2 classes that I needed to have accomplished before I can start clinicals, but in order to apply for the nursing program, the NLN was the last thing I had to do. And I had talked to everybody, you know, you meet people at school in your classes in the break room, and you're like, hey, have you taken your NLN? They're like, yeah. And I'm like, well, what really stuck out for you? Do you remember what was on there? You know, and some people said they had dinosaurs, you know, from the science portion, or clouds, or, you know, so I took that week and a half and I just kind of went back to stuff that I hadn't learned since high school, basic biology, things like that. I just finished anatomy and chemistry, algebra, clinical math, so I felt confident there. But I have to tell you, the anatomy and physiology, I didn't have a lot of questions on that, or chemistry really, in my NLN. I don't know if they're all the same tests or if there's different ones that rotate around. But now that I look back at my study book that I had, the anatomy and physiology was 2. Anatomy and physiology 2. But anyway, 6 points was the max points I could have earned with that, and I earned 5. So that day, right after and you know, like I said, with everything that was going on with my life at that time, I was happy about the 5. I had max points in all of my other classes that I needed to take in order to apply for my clinicals, which I had to have human development and sociology. I needed to have English. I took algebra on my own, but I'm very glad I did. That helped out not only with clinical math, it helped out with chemistry as well, and even anatomy and things like that. But the classes I needed were to apply were the anatomy and physiology to the clinical math, the composition, the reading, which I tested out of, and the human development thing. So I had max points. I had A's in all of those classes. So with the max points I could have applied for nursing school was 16, and I applied with 15. So I went ahead and applied in May. I didn't wait. The cutoff date to turn in applications for January 2013 was in August. So I went ahead and did that in May. So that was kind of a long summer having to wait to hear back about that. But I'm going to end this video here. I'm going to start another one about my fall semester I just finished up. But again, I'm happy to be back. I've missed you all. Please comment and let me know what you'd like to hear from me. Let me know how you all are doing. I'm trying to catch up. I'm in upstate New York right now for the holidays at my in-laws' place. So uploading videos, because we're out in the boondocks, is kind of frustrating. It takes forever, and you're almost done, and then it cuts off, and you lose connection, and it's very frustrating. So hopefully this will go through. But happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever you all celebrate. I wish you all the happiness and luck for the new year, and I'll talk to you in the next video.